Week 3 here in Connecticut featured 3 single-digit victories for 3 teams. No overtime games, but as the competition heats up, as some of the teams that are more familiar with the league begin to face off, we're going to have more nights like this. Welcome to the Week 3 postgame show. My name's Joey, Sam behind the camera. Nice shirt. Eddie as well. Nice shirt. We have Evan, Quinn, Julia, Doug, Eddie, Drew. I'm Joey. I nailed it. I know my own name. This is great. All right, so first, before we get, because Doug has a beef with me, it's fine. We're going to do Shocker City Sportslook. I don't know if you'd call it an upset. Sportslook does get the win. Nearly had some drama in the fourth quarter when Shocker City almost came back, but it was Sportslook who is now still undefeated, right?
Yep.
Shocker City's first loss. You know, so Redeem Team has a loss. Flint Tropics undefeated. TMC escapes undefeated this week as well. Guys, how did Sportslook pull this off, you know, when a lot of people thought Shocker City would win?
So as you mentioned, probably an upset in a lot of people's eyes, definitely not in Sportslook's eyes. It was a real team effort for Sportslook. They had 4 players over 10 points in the game, and they really just, it was a team-oriented game of basketball. And then post-game, they said, you know, all we have to do is shut down Carmine Santarelli and make the other guys score. Carmine got his points, but the other guys really couldn't score. And in the end, that allowed Sportslook to come out with the win. Some people might say, oh, but Shocker City wasn't their full team, and maybe that's why they lost.
Vargas.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you know, people could say the same thing about the Golden State Warriors losing to their own Raptors.
I mean, they did not. I mean, they were.
Exactly.
Both are factually correct.
Exactly. But still, at the end of the day, those 2 teams ended up winning. So
right.
you got to give them the win. It counts on the record. It counts all the same. And it was an impressive output by Sportslook. I thought they were going to lose, be on the losing end, not Shocker City. So we'll see how Shocker City responds next week. And Sportslook looks to carry momentum into next week.
Players are going to miss some weeks, especially in the summer. Some have vacations, some are doing this. And so in the regular season, it really is just one big tune-up. Come playoff time is when it really matters, obviously, but then when teams, you know, lose a game in the regular season they were supposed to win, it affects seeding. So even though the regular season doesn't matter all that much, it does when the matchups take place later in the playoffs. You know, no Terrell Vargas, we mentioned that. Anything else on Sportslook? I mean, they definitely came and snatched this game more than I think Shocker City lost it.
Part of the league is just having guys show up. I mean,
right.
Sportslook in the past has been a team that's been tough for them. Guys not showing up, so it was the opposite today. So Shocker City, you got to play with who you have. So
right.
It's not Sportslook's fault that guys didn't show up.
Also, Sportslook didn't have their full team either. They were short issue players, so they could have made the same excuses, but they didn't, and they came out on top and remained one of the 3 undefeated teams left.
That's true. Week 3, a lot of threes.
Yeah.
Undefeated teams. Awesome. We'll do it now. Run TMC escapes with the win by a point. Down 20-something in the first quarter, defeats Nick Strong. Huge third quarter run. Reggie Stewart 6 of 25. I'm going to steal all the good stats. And you know, talking to kind of people who've been around the league for a little while, you really don't see that from Reggie Stewart a lot. I mean, I can't think of a time. We get a head shake from Sam behind the camera. Like, doesn't happen often. So it was a rare night in a bad sort of way for Reggie Stewart. TMC still able to get the win. We'll save Doug for later. Anyone else? What did you guys see from TMC?
Reggie Stewart, yeah, just to go off of that, it definitely wasn't his best game at all. He was pretty upset with himself towards the end. And to go off the 6 for 25, he was 1 for 12 on 3-point shots, but he pulled up just enough to get the win. It was tied at 3 different points in the second half, and a couple of 14-point deficits there. It was he played just enough, but he's probably going to be getting a lot of practice reps in this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's Shocker City next week, so I'm glad he got it out now. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I personally didn't watch this game, but it seems like Nick Strong's in it every single week.
Yeah.
And every single week, it seems like they just don't have enough to finish it out. I don't know exactly what happened in this one, because I did look over, and Nick Strong was leading for a good portion of this game. I don't know if it was the lack of defense, maybe they got lost in transition as TMC was bringing it down, but it seems like Nick Strong they have the talent, it's just the durability needs to be there for them to pull off these wins.
They just can't close.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks in a row where Nick Strong definitely should have ended up winning the game. You even told me that you thought Nick Strong should have won tonight, and they just couldn't come out and coach. They added a new player in Chris Blake. Unbelievable.
Chris Leak, yeah.
Chris Leak, my apologies.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
big for
I
them.
mean, this game was by far the most exciting game I've seen all season. I mean, everyone was on the edge of their seat, including me. I was shaking at the end of the game. It was crazy. I can't believe Run TMC pulled out the win. I mean, Joey, really
Thank
awesome
you.
job at the 3-point
You
line.
guys missed a
you
great
know?
opportunity, guys. Good job.
Yeah, Reggie, we'll see you next week. You know, you'll get it back. No worries on that. But, I mean, there was definitely a commanding lead for Nick Strong, and just to see them lose it right at the end there by 1 point was just incredible.
Yep.
So.
And Nick Strong making a lot of shots in the first quarter, first half, was taking a lot of the same shots in the second half. They just weren't falling. And so, I mean, that happens, whether it's, I mean, you touched on a lot of it, durability, you know, I don't know about lack of defense, but maybe just stamina and stuff like that, where the legs start to go and the shots you were making aren't going in. Maybe they were just regressing to the mean, right? I mean, you're not going to make every shot the whole game. So a combination of all that for Nick Strong. But yeah, let's move on to, we had our other close game. Silly Senders and Scott's Tots just wrapped up here on court 1 at 10 o'clock. And it is Scott's Tots who are able to get the win, right?
Yeah, first win in the Legacy Leagues.
All right, awesome. Congrats to them. 2 new teams, their first win. What'd you see from them?
I think Scott's Tots is, I said this last week, I think Scott's Tots is a very talented team. I think they got a lot of depth. But the scoreboard will show that this game was a lot closer than I feel like it actually was. I mean, at the beginning of the game, it was 19 to 2, something like that.
26 to 4.
26 to
5
4 in the first quarter, and then it seemed like Scott's Tots kind of just stopped playing defense. Like, to be honest, they kind of just stopped playing defense and were focused more on the offensive side. And then the Silly Senders were kind of slowly crawling their way back. And by halftime, you look up at the scoreboard, you're like, oh, it's a lot closer than it was. But Scott's Tots is a very talented team. They were able to close it out in this one.
I was really impressed by Silly Senders' run towards the end. And to be honest, I thought they were going to close it out, but just couldn't get a couple of late baskets when it's needed. And that obviously shows, but like you said, it's a lot closer than it actually really should have been.
Yeah, and Drew mentioned it. I was sitting next to Quinder in the game. I thought this was going to be a blowout the entire way, just based on the first quarter. And then Silly Senders just refused to quit. You know, strong second half. I think they're definitely going to get a win this season. I think we know who it's going to be against. We'll find out that later.
We'll see.
Definitely think they can get a win this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are starting to hit their stride. This is kind of when it starts to happen and when you get those tougher matchups as well. So it sets up for some good basketball down the road.
Yeah.
Flint Tropics and Toon Squad. Flint Tropics by 15, 16, 17 points, I think it was. They would always get it around 10 or 12. Toon Squad would. They kind of kept it right around that range, and it was the Flint Tropics able to get the win and remain undefeated. I mean, I know Jaden Battle, we had that conversation. Like, oh my God, he had 30.
Dunk of the night,
And
too.
a huge dunk.
Yeah, definitely a shout out to Jaden Battle. I mean, he had 30 points on the night and some really, really great looks on offense. So, I mean, despite the loss, I think it was a surely great game for Toon Squad. And as for Flint Tropics, another commanding lead, 3-0 in the season. Mike Pizzuto with, I think it was 15 points.
15, yeah.
Yeah, so
Continues his strong play so far.
I mean, Jaden Battle and Chad McCoy, the offense was completely getting run through both of them.
Yep.
And Jaden Battle was taking a lot of shots, but actually, I think Flint was playing great defense against him. He was taking a lot of outside shots, and they were pushing up against on defense on him. But honestly, I feel like this wasn't a huge game for Flint Tropics. I feel like they didn't play as well as they have in the past, like last week when they beat Redeem Team. But just well-rounded, they play a lot better team basketball. And personally, I think Toon Squad has a few too many players on their team because they're arguing about subs and who should be in, who shouldn't be in. And I think there's just too many cooks in the kitchen right now, and it's causing them a little negativity.
Yeah, that's stuff that'll get worked out, which is good for Toon Squad. I think they're on like the rise in sort of a sense. I know they still lost and like bottom line win or lose, but new teams trying to figure out rotations, figuring out how to play who when. You can tell the teams that have been here before kind of get it, and it just takes time with that. And the last game, Redeem Team takes down the Bricklayers. Eddie, I heard you almost dunk. I don't know.
I don't know if you want to call it that.
I got the video.
Sure,
I got
dunk.
the video,
Dunk?
so we'll have to go. Yeah.
I don't want to see that. Video.
Hand
That's all.
touch the rim, ball
That was a
went in.
very favorable Sure.
I didn't
No,
say
the
it.
ball went in, the hand touched the rim.
I think it counted.
That counts as a
Counts.
dunk.
Before Eddie
I'll
gets
take it.
consensus.
Before Eddie gets into the dominating win, I think Bricklayers had a season high in points, so shout out.
There
to
you go.
that.
So again, kind of teams hitting their stride.
Yeah,
Anything else?
honestly, like, this is the first game I've seen from Bricklayers this year. I know there's been a lot of negativity going into it. They did not play as bad as I thought they would. I feel like Redeem Team kind of went into it being like, oh, it'll be an easy win, and then all of a sudden it's 8-7 or something like that, and then Redeem Team started doing full court trapping, and they had 37 steals in this one. So definitely that game plan worked. And I mean, it was just kind of, the Redeem team outran Bricklayers. They were getting back on transition. They were spreading the floor a lot better. And overall, it was just a better team basketball win. But credit to Bricklayers because they kept coming back. At no one time they stopped running. They kept going, and so full credit to them for sure.
Yeah, I just got to give a shout out. Destin Simmons was just disgusting from three-pointer. He was, I think, shot 50%. I think he was 10 for 20, and it was just ridiculous to watch. Every time he would touch the ball, it would be money from distance. So I was a big fan of watching him.
On the way in, he's like, I gotta find my shot. I'm like, well,
he found it.
I guess he found it.
Yeah.
Walked in and found it.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, because that is all of our week 3 matchups, we'll go down the line and let you guys pick your favorite so far through 3 games. Do you know where you're going?
Yeah, I mean,
all right. So you're allowed a team.
Yep.
And then 3 words. We're gonna make you guys work for it. All right. So what's your team? Your favorite so far?
Redeem team.
Okay. And then you get 3 words on why.
Hard-nosed basketball.
All right. This is good. See, short and sweet.
I'll say Redeem team winning the championship.
Okay.
Gotta
Good
shoot my
job.
shot.
All right. A little biased. It's okay.
I'm going to say Flint Tropics and let's get tropical.
Okay. Can't go wrong with that.
I'm gonna have to go with Flint Tropics as well. I mean, just
3 words.
dominating on the defense.
There you go. All right.
4,
Good.
but
Almost.
close enough.
Almost.
I'm going to go Shocker City, and I only need 2 words, is Carmine Santorelli.
All right.
Go Sports Look, shake it up, because that's what they did tonight by taking down Shocker City.
All right. I like it.
What about you?
Oh, I mean, I'm biased. I mean, I could. I do have a good one. We'll do Run TMC, and it's Reggie Runs TMC. And he will bounce back. But that'll be next week. So Shocker City TMC, face off in week 4, which will be a finals rematch from the past 2 seasons. Some new faces on both sides, but that'll be an awesome game. And good job, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week here from InSports for week 4.